Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Best in Class Connected, which is a joint webinar between Nuforma and Rapport3. In this session today, we'll be discussing why two companies, Nuforma and Cubic Interactive, choose to work together to provide a connected, best-in-class approach to managing your projects. My name is James Cook, and I have worked prior to joining Nuforma as an information manager in the industry for around 12 years, and that has helped me to transition into my role as a business solutions consultant at Nuforma.
My name's Leo Chadwell. I work for Cubic Interactive as a software implementation consultant. I've worked for the past year and a half working with clients, install Rapport, as well as training them on how to use the software and in a way that works best with their organisation. So both companies were created in the early part of this century to address the main challenges facing AEC professionals. We have a combined UK customer base of over 300 clients, with customers ranging in size from 5 to 1,000 employees. We share a configurable method for deployment. This avoids costly customization, and we share a wealth of experience of helping clients transition away from Union Square. So, to today's agenda. We will start with an overview of why a connected, best-in-class approach is superior to an all-in-one software. Then we will introduce the key aspects and advantages of Nuforma Project Center and Rapport3, along with a product demonstration. We will follow this with an overview of the implementation process and how you can migrate away from your incumbent solution before wrapping up with the conclusion.
There is an understandable attraction to choosing an all-in-one solution. One application, one method of working, one vendor relationship. It sounds so simple and clean, but is that the reality? As an industry-related example, would your clients choose a single specialist consultant to design a building? Although the engineer could have a go at designing the space and form of the building, she isn't the best person qualified to do this. The architect is. Which is why your clients choose specialists from each field to deliver their projects and not a single consultant. In the same way, relying on a single software application to meet your requirements is a compromise. The single all-in-one application has some real downsides. Trying to develop software for two or more separate requirements, project financials and project information, results in a solution that isn't optimized for either, which results in one subset of the business having to make a concession to the other. Inevitably, staff get disillusioned and frustrated, and so engagement with the application drops off, as people choose to work ways around this. Finally, with all your eggs in one basket, a single vendor is under less pressure to listen and engage their clients, leading them to become complacent in the security of their own position. Okay, so what's the alternative? Using the best-in-class, most appropriate solution for your different business requirements whilst ensuring they talk to each other when necessary. This allows your company specialists to work within the application that is best suited to their needs at the time, whilst remaining confident that there is a connection between the two. Working with two separate applications means that both the vendors must continue to work hard to keep you satisfied and maintain the relationship, because if one application or vendor doesn't live up to its promise, it can be swapped without disrupting the other application, providing your business with choice and security around your investment. Nuforma provides a deep search across all your project files, and that is including content of files, emails, and even attachments. There is no search limit on the results that you wish to search upon. This will give you visibility across all your files, and that is without having to apply additional metadata. Nuforma gives you the capability to share files easily with external members, and that is sending and receiving information without limitation. And this will give you a full audit trail of who has sent what, to whom and when, and even who is downloaded on the other side. All this audit trail is captured in Nuforma automatically. Nuforma also is a connector tool, so Nuforma will connect to your best-in-class systems such as Revit, Office 365, ProjectWise, and other ERP solutions, and much, much more. We fully appreciate that there are tools that you want and need to help you deliver your projects, and our Connected strategy responds directly to that and gives you the requirement to be able to connect those best-in-class systems to give you better project context.
So Rapport3 is a project management software that works as an all-in-one system where you can add in timesheets, personal project expenses, as well as fill in your annual leave information and any entitlement. Rapport enables you to plan and forecast projects, create resource plans, as well as billing plans, as well as integrating the financial package that you work with in your organisation. So why Newformer and Rapport3? Both our companies are solely focused on the AEC sector. We regularly engage with our customers through meetings and user group events. Although separate solutions, we are solely focused on the functionality of our products for our clients' requirements, and together, using the best-in-class solutions, are connected to provide an integrated system, simply put, the right tool for the right job. When a project is created in Rapport3, this is automatically created in Newformer. The project folders subsequent to that are created on the file server and readily indexed by Newformer. Whenever a change is implemented in Rapport3, that change is automatically synced over to Newformer, including the companies and contacts. This is all connected through our APIs, giving you better project control. So here are our logos. I'll leave this on the screen for a few seconds. There are 9 joint names in 18 months. And now we will go through our product demonstration. So for the first demonstration, I'm going to be at a networking event, and I'm going to add a new prospective client that I meet at the network event using the Rapport3 mobile app showing on the window here. So it allows you to add in a contact and then send that contact straight through to the Rapport3 main app. So if I click on the menu on the top left-hand corner and click on Add Contact, then you have a first name, so I can select the first name of, type in the first name of David, and then the surname of Driscoll. Under that, you've got the company, so it allows you to select the first 3 characters of the company if the company exists already in the system. So I'm going to type in DIR, and that allows me to select the industries that the client works for. You can also press the plus symbol, that allows you to add a new company in, or the edit button next to that. You can then fill in the additional information, contact title, mobile, phone, email. But for this example, I'm okaying that. And it's added in David Driscoll into his company, and that's synced that information straight to our Rapport3 system.
Okay, so now the contact has been created in the mobile app, I can now go into Rapport, and I'm using the desktop, my desktop, so I'm using the online site to create a project. So the project is in Projects tab at the top here, and I'm currently in the dashboard of this project. I've created the project 000818 Halpin Grove Science Centre 31. I did this earlier in the Details tab, and that's where I created this project. So to create a project in Rapport, you go through and click on Add New Project. But for this example, I've already created this project, so I'm just going to go into the Edit window here. And I'll just talk you over this briefly, this Edit window. What I've done is added in the project name. All the fields with the grey, blue outline are the mandatory fields, so they need to be filled in before you can continue and save this window. I've then selected the client of Alpine College, given a director. Division, you can select from the drop down, as well as discipline, where the type of discipline the project is, and it's a fee project. The registration date, I created this on the 1st of August, and the status of the project is currently speculative, because it's going to be a speculative project to start with. You can then go through and fill in site address details. This is just the details of the site address that you're working on for the project, as well as the site country and any services and sectors. And then lastly, to export this project to Newformer, you have this section here, export to new format, yes or no. What I do there is set this to yes and then save. And what that does, it triggers the activity sending the information over to new format.
Okay, so now that the project has been added in Nuforma, so the project is synced from Rapport to Nuforma, you can see the project name and number here. If I click on this option, this is going to take me into the project, and you can see I've got all these tools and features that I can use within Nuforma. The first you'll notice is I can actually link directly to Rapport, so I can open up new Rapport from Nuforma. But if I firstly go into project files, this will explain a little bit more about the process. So when we obviously create the project in Rapport, it creates a Nuforma. What you can also have set is the fact that it will create the folder structure within your Windows file server. So as you can see here, what Nuforma is doing is looking directly at your Windows file server, and it's actually showing all the folders, the metadata, the files themselves, all within this area here. So if I simply click on this folder and right click, I'm going to go into Windows Explorer, and this is actually a looking glass into your Windows file structure, so it's exactly the same as in Windows as what you would see in Nuforma. Now, one of Nuforma's main capabilities is its search capability. So if I want to instigate a search, not only will Nuforma look at the file names or the folder names, it actually look at the text within files. So Nuforma uses optical character recognition technology to actually search through data within files. You can search on a word or a phrase, and Nuforma will find that phrase within or word within the files themselves. So at the top here, if I was to type in the word concrete and do a direct search by hitting the return tab, this is going to generate firstly a list of results. So you can see just down the bottom here, it's searching through, it's generating the results here. So then this number is moving up slightly, so it's 873, and it's going to keep moving up when it finds the result. Now, in this filter by drop down here, Nuforma simply categorize information by document types, drawings, emails, or you could be more granular and actually choose the actual file type itself. So if I want to find a DWG file, for example, I can click here and I could filter on DWG files only. And then if I wanted to, I can actually scroll down and probably filter on the actual name of the file, or use this option here to filter on all these columns here as well. So I'm going to choose this file here, or this file here rather. I'm going to double click on this file. This is going to open up in the Nuforma viewer. Okay, so the Nuforma viewer opens up with any 2D drawing formats, so any PDF drawings, any DWG, DWF drawings, for example. And what you're going to find here is, as I instigated that search for concrete, if I type on this or set this first option here, it's going to zoom into DWG file and find that word concrete maintained on the file here. And similarly, if I go to select this option here again, it's going to find the other option for concrete within the file itself. So that's really how Nuforma's super search capability works. With the viewer as well, we have markup tools, we can measure, we can compare and overlay drawings, we can create action items, workflows. So we've got a whole list of other tools that are very useful within the Nuforma viewer. I'm not going to touch on those today. Now, if I go up here and I decide to filter on email, this is going to take me into my email view. And if I was to simply say I want to find emails directly from Bob, I could type emails from Bob. And then just down here, I can set this first option, and it's going to show me concrete, all the search terms for concrete. So concrete has been found in the subject line, as it's highlighted in yellow, similarly for the content of the email as well. So it's found that very, very, very quickly. Now, to file emails for Nuforma to be able to view those emails, this is done directly from Outlook. So if I go into Outlook, there's a few methods. The first is a more traditional approach, which is a simple drag and drop process. So if I went to drag and drop this email, for example, into this project, it should be simply like so. We also have an add-in, so I can set the add-in up here, the Nuforma add-in at the top here in Outlook, and I can actually set the project in here, and I have a few more options to extract documents, etc. if I wanted to, and a few other options within that add-in as well. And then we also have a quick file option. So if I want to file this email here, I can file that email directly to that project.
Now, if I go back into Newformer, I could search on a term, say progression, and then I can filter that on emails. And if I clicked or select this email, it's going to tell me that this actually is a fee earning project, and now I have to prepare a fee schedule for the project.
So the next step is to create the fee schedule in Rapport 3. So I've gone back into Rapport and I'm still on our details tab, showing our basic information of the project. The next step is to go to the fee budget plan. So in the fee budget plan, I've got our basic dates and durations of the project, as well as a fees breakdown. So I'll just quickly talk over this screen. Our base fee was set at £100,000, and we have set the duration to be just over a year. So we've got 370 days in the project, 10 work stages, the work stages down here, a work stage reference for each of the work stages, and a live for 37 days. So that's 37 days for each work stage, 10 of those equaling 370 days. Underneath, we've got our fees breakdown, workstage fees breakdown. So you can see for every work stage, there's our reference on the left-hand side. We've got 10,000 for all 10 of these work stages, equaling our £100,000 fee. And then under that, we've got our outline budget planner. So this gives you a way of inserting a basic fee for each of the grades. At the moment, we're not looking at a staff member themselves, we're just looking at the grades of the staff members. So what I'm going to do next is go into the labour plan and start assigning staff members into this project. So what I can do here is, on the left hand side, there's a drop down window option here to select a work stage. I'm going to click onto the drop down and then I can select a grade. So these are all the grades that we can select for this project. So I'm going to select a director, and I'm going to say I'm going to have that in the week commencing, let's say this, the week commencing the 9th of September, 1 day. And what that's done is it's calculated what the cost of 1 day for the director is, and it's charged that into the project here, it's the total cost. Top left here is to save. Once I save the project, I can now navigate away and go into any other window. There's a button here, staff utilization, and what this does is it opens up whoever's working on the project currently. So at the moment, Mike Smith is just set as the director of the project. I'm going to go into staff, branch, and this looks up all, after refreshing, all the staff in the branch that I'm working with. This allows you to see what projects they're working on, as well as what projects they're free for. So the light green, meaning they're completely free, dark green, meaning they're semi-utilised, red, meaning they're overutilised. So I can go in and I can find a staff member that I want to add to this project. So I'm going to see Chris here. He's got quite a lot of availability, so he's going to be the director for the project. At the moment, it's only looking at my internal list. So I need to select my London team, and now I can find Chris on the list and assign him to the project. Then I have to save that, and now he's working on this project. And to go in to remove the utilization toggle, you can just click on the button here to remove that. What I'm going to do now is going to our billing plan. And I'm going to suggest when the work stages are going to be billed. Again, we've got all of our work stages down the left-hand side here, scrolling down from top to bottom. And we've got our work stage durations as these yellow lines. It can be clicked on and change the work stage duration. We've got our stage fee of 10,000 for each of the work stages. I'm just going to assign 10,000 billing to our appraisal work stage. You can give a description here if needed. I'm going to say in September, I'm going to bill 10,000 for September. Then you can see the stage fees 10,000, our fees 10,000. There's no variance, so we're going to plan to build our 10,000 in September. Saving that. You can also use bulk tools at the top here. So there's a way of entering 10,000 here. For example, if you're regularly assigning 10,000 each month, you can do that. You can enter a bulk tool. I'm just going to zero that out now. and you can also use the bulk move tool. If a project goes on hold for any reason or gets moved date-wise, you can move the billing using the bulk move tool here. I'm just going to save that there. The next area is our sub-consultants plan. So if you have any sub-consultants working on the project, this is the area where you can assign who the sub-consultants are. I'm going to go to our strategic brief work stage. Again, select the drop-down, and you can select a sub-consultant from here. At the moment, our list is blank because we haven't shortlisted who our consultants are going to be. So I'm going to go into our supplier console here, and we've got our available suppliers on the left-hand side. And to select a supplier, I'm just going to use this test supplier here. Click the right-hand arrow to send them over to the right-hand side to be used on this project, and then click the save icon here. It then refreshes the project, and now means that in my drop-down, I can select this test supplier here. So I'm going to select the test supplier, and it allows me again to assign the fee from the supplier into the line of the work. So I'm going to select September again, and I'm going to type in £1,000 for this supplier, and that's assigned the £1,000 to this test supplier, and it's taking off our total cost and working that out in this area here. Again, I'm just going to save. After this, you can use Rapport's various reports to extract useful information and data about your project, as well as using our Cube service, which allows you to export data feed that can be used on Microsoft Excel as well as Power BI to create your own bespoke reports. Okay, so the next area is I'm going to go back to detail of our project, and I'm going to edit the project. And after the project's been edited, I can then go into the status of the project. Currently it's speculative, and I'm going to change the project to a live ongoing project, and this will inform Nuforma of that change, status change.
So now the project is a live project, you'll start to get more sub-consultants and consultants on the project. So with the Rapport and Nuforma integration, when you add contacts into Rapport, they will be synchronized over to Nuforma. And also that is for the projects as well. So when you add contacts on the project team in Rapport, that'll be synced to Nuforma. So if I go into project team here, you will see those contacts that are synced over from Rapport into Nuforma. And then what we can do is to help with submissions, we can start to create distribution groups, and this will help us to send out drawings to multiple parties in one go as opposed to setting every contact individually. So you've got a nice centralized contact database from Rapport that's been pushed over to Nuforma. Now, as this is now a live project, you'll start to see that we'll start to develop more formal drawings. So there'll be more formal packages that will have to be sent out to other consultants and to the client and to the contractor. And we'll also start with processes like RFIs, and there'll be variations and change orders in that process as well. So I'm going to start by talking about document control. So document control is really a centralized view to view all the latest drawings, and also you can view previous versions of those drawings as well. So if I click on this option here, or this drawing, you can see that I can see PO1 directly here, and similarly with PO2. Now, with folder structure in general, when you try and file drawings in folders, it can be quite onerous and difficult to find drawings in those folders. So with Nuforma, we take away all that pain, we centralize the information, and we also give the capability to apply extra metadata. So not only are you looking at the drawing file name in your folder, you can also see the title, you can see the respective revisions, understand the workflows, whether they've been issued or they're at draft state, meaning they've not been issued yet. Through Nuforma, we have the capability to issue these drawings directly from Nuforma. This will instigate or automatically create a issue sheet. We can also assist with issuing to other CD platforms, the likes of Aconex, Conject, A-Site, ForProject, etc. So we have some processes in place to help you with those systems as well. So with Nuforma, the main purpose of this area is really to give everyone the ease of finding information. They can actually build as many columns as they wish to help them categorize information, to enable that search, to then find that drawing, and then to send that drawing. When they send that information, Nuforma captures the audit trail behind that as well, so it will tell you who has downloaded what and when. And also through our Info Exchange platform, we can receive drawings as well. So we have some real thorough tools that can help you get better control over your drawing information, which seems to be the biggest issue in construction today. Now, where we're producing drawings constantly on the project, this will mainly infer questions. So you'll see there'll be a lot of requests for information, which we call RFIs. So with Nuforma, we have a contract management area for RFIs, and if I go into RFIs now, again, what we're doing is we're creating that centralized view. So as you can see here, everything I've got in here is actually overdue apart from these ones here in black. So you can actually send RFIs internally. You can also, again, as I mentioned, through the Info Exchange platform, you can send RFIs for response to external parties, and you can track that all in one area. So if I click on one example here, and I'm going to click on this one here, you can see that this RFI has actually been received. So through Outlook, we have an add-in to process the RFI into Nuforma. And then we forward this for an answer to somebody, and then they have answered that. So it's just pending a acknowledgement of this RFI. So then that will close out the RFI, and then once that's closed, if I filter here, that will go to our all closed area, so that will show all the closed RFIs. With RFIs as well, what generally happens with that is questions will obviously instigate variations, and with those variations, we have a process in Nuforma called change orders, and how to instigate a change order is through a change order proposal. So if I go back to the home page now, and I go into change order proposals, what you'll find is it's a very similar look and feel to RFI. So with Nuforma again, we're not radically changing every component or area of Nuforma. We're keeping that familiar view, and that makes it a bit easier for the user to engage with the software. So how would change orders work is we would put the contract sum, and against the contract sum, we would actually send change orders. So it might deduct from the contract sum, or it might add a cost to the contract sum. This will all be recorded in change order proposals. And again, if I click on one option here, so I'm going to choose this option here, you can see that this was received by Bob Welder and Howard. This is the question, and then obviously this needs to be responded to. Similar for this one in red. So this is expected or overdue, and nobody has actually dealt with this change order proposals. Now, with change order proposals, obviously, once it's in Nuforma, this will have to be recorded in rapport. So the change orders will have to be obviously relate to rapport, and that has to be reflected in that system as well.
So after this change order has been made, I can go back into rapport, which I'm in now, and I can implement the change on this system. So once again, I'm going to navigate to fee budget plan, and in here I can go to our work stages tab, and on the bottom, and I can create an additional variation or change order on this project. So what I'll do next is to add a new work stage. This creates a new workstage drop down here, and I can give this the name of variation and give the workstage reference maybe VAR variation. I can then give the amount of days for this variation, so I'm going to say this is going to be 30 days, which brings our project now nicely up to 400 days. And I can then save this. So now this variation workstage has been added. I can scroll down to my fees breakdown, and I can see the VAR reference has been created, and currently there's no stage fee that's been assigned to this. So what I'm going to do next is add a fee of 15,000, and that creates the total project fee up to 115,000. I can also, in the fee type here, select additional to show this is additional work from our original fee, just to show the variation here of 15,000. Total is 115,000. And once this has been created, I can assign a staff member onto the line of the work stage. And once again, I can go back into our labour plan, resourcing, and I can see there's our original 1 day of Chris's time onto our first work stage, and I can scroll down, and then I can see our new variation work stage with our stage fee of 15,000. And what I do now is just, again, select the drop down. I can then select a grade. So for this example, I may have an engineer for this, and I'm going to select the staff member. Again, you'll see the original internal team list is listed down here. I'm going to select our London branch again, and I'm going to select Adam to be our staff engineer for this project, and navigate to our current week, and I'm going to say 3 days of engineer time, and what that does is it assigns our 3 days to the current week. I can then save that. Once this variation has been made, I can view this on the performance graph of the system, which is this button here, performance graphs. I'm then going to full screen this window, and you can then see our original project was on 100,000 along the line here, and you can see that variation was made here, pushing up the project all the way to 115,000 here. So visually, you can see how the project is looking by using our performance graphs, and there's various graphs that you can run on the system to see your initial change.
So thank you all for attending today's webinar. For any other questions or inquiries, please contact the information on the screen now. So you've got the Nuforma email address and phone number, followed by the Cubic Interactive Rapport email and number. So thank you again, and have a great day.
Thanks very much.